What if SharePoint and Copilot could understand your business perfectly? Your tone, your content, your workflows, and anyone on your team could build and maintain it with zero coding. I've been obsessed with playing with SharePoint Skills over the past couple of weeks, and I want to share what I found. This isn't meant to be a full technical deep dive or anything like that. I just wanted to share some of the exciting things that I've found and hopefully share enough to get you started as well. So in this video, we'll cover skills versus agents and what a skill is in a SharePoint context. We'll go through a real demo example that I did recently with a team of internal comms people and show you how to build one from scratch, where it lives, how it works, and some of the prerequisites you need to make it happen, as well as some tips on how to import them from Claude or other skills if you're familiar with those. Let's get started. So first of all, let's go through what is a skill and how is it different from an agent. The easiest way to think of a skill is as a small, focused, instruction-based capability that helps tell an AI how to do something. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say I'm in product marketing and I've got a brochure here about information lifecycle and I want to know who this brochure is tailored for. So I might ask Copilot in SharePoint, who is the main persona this file is for? And without a skill, Copilot and SharePoint will simply look at the file, reason over it, and try to come up with the best guess because it hasn't got a direction. It doesn't understand the company specifics. As you can see here, it's reading the contents of the file and trying to figure it out as best it can. However, in this example here, you can see I've asked it the same question, but this time it had a skill loaded where it said, let me check the definitions you've given me about what the different personas in this company are and try to find the best match and explain it in more detail. So now, instead of trying to understand it just based on the document alone, it's able to load the skill telling it the different types of personas in the company and able to provide even greater context and information around its answer. So as you can see, the skill is how you can teach SharePoint how to do something or how to think about something. So this is different from an agent. If you think of the agent as the worker, the skill is what you teach it. And some of the other technical differences are that in SharePoint, a skill does not have external connectivity like an agent does, so you can't connect it to the web or go pull information from other systems. A SharePoint skill does not execute any custom code. It's fully instruction-based in natural language. A SharePoint skill doesn't have any elevated access. It's always running in the context of the user running it. But in short, skills are the framework that help you stop getting vanilla or best guessed answers out of your AI and actually train it how to give answers just like a member of your team. A quick note on licensing and availability. This was just launched in preview just last month in April 2026. So it may not be available in every instance just yet. And we've already seen a number of changes roll through, in particular the name. It was called Knowledge Agents, then SharePoint AI, and now Copilot in SharePoint. And it's likely to keep being updated up until the official release, so keep that in mind as you play with it. But if you do want to take it for a spin, there's a couple of things you'll need to do first. I won't go into all the details, but you do need to make sure that your instance is opted into the AI in SharePoint preview and you've enabled the Anthropic subprocessor. I won't go into those details. You can check out the link in the description below on how to do that. And for now, there's also some PowerShell you have to run to figure out which sites get this switched on. It's still using the legacy knowledge agent parameters. I'm sure this will get updated over time. And in fact, I think this will be turned on by default once it goes live. Like I said, I won't spend too long here, but either if you're not setting it up yourself, ask your IT admin for help, and you'll know it's set up correctly when you get the feature available under Site Collection Features. So we're here in the site settings of our site. We go to Site Collection Features. You can see there's a new feature at the top called Agent Assets. And when I activate this feature, this is what will enable the skills, and you'll know you've done it correctly when you go to your site contents and you see a new library called Agent Assets that contains two subfolders for plans and skills. And if it's a new activation, the skills folder will be empty. So let's go through an actual end-to-end demo of what this looks like. Here's the scenario. We're working with a group of internal comms people inside an organization, and they have a need or they have a skill that their team does where every time there's a new briefing or a product launch or something like that, they need to take some of the collateral from one of the other teams and then turn it into an announcement to communicate that with the rest of the organization. And they need to do that across multiple channels and multiple formats. They need to make a SharePoint news post and a Teams post and a Viva Viva Engage post and maybe an email to leadership with specific, the bottom line up front and, value forward. They've got all these different skills that they have inside their team that they repeatedly do and they need to train their other team members on. This is a great example about where you can use a skill to teach SharePoint how to do that for you and how to leverage the material to do that for you. So let's go through the demo story together. And let's start by creating the skill. And what I've found is the easiest way to get the right prompt to make the skill is actually to ask Copilot what you should be asking. So we'll start by opening up M365 Copilot. So this is just the regular M365 Copilot. I'm going to switch it over to the web and I'm going to ask it to give me the prompt that I need to ask the document library to create the skill. Let me show you. I want help creating an automated SharePoint skill for internal comms teams. Can you recommend me a detailed prompt that I could use to build a SharePoint skill scenario use case? So as you can see, it started recommending a master prompt. Now what I'm able to do is then copy and paste this and start editing and tweaking it for my particular scenario. So I'm saying here that you're creating a skill called a campaign ready announcement builder. It should take input from a short brief from raw text or from referencing an internal announcement or a document like a PowerPoint or Word. And a skill must accept the description and produce multiple communication ready outputs in a consistent professional tone. And it should include a SharePoint news post with a headline, subheading, hero summary, and so on, Teams message, email draft, and so on. As you can see, it's detailed out exactly what I need to ask. So let's copy and paste this now into our actual SharePoint site to build the skill. So as you can see, it's now building the skill out. It says here, the campaign ready announcement builder skill is now live. Here's what it does. We'll accept text, bullet points, or documents. It'll output all 6 every time of a news post, announcement, leadership email, Viva Engage post, elevator pitch, has some built-in quality controls as well. So let's take this for a spin now. I'm going to select this document, which is a brochure for a product, and then ask the chat, help me create a campaign ready announcement for this file. Okay, it's come back and you can see that it says, I've read through the aviator brochure, great product details, so it can tell it's about a product, but it says, before I generate any communication assets, I need to clarify a few things. What's the announcement angle? Is this a launch or is it adoption? Who's the internal audience? Is there a specific date or call to action? So once I have these, I can generate it. So I can say, just in this example, just for fun, this is a product launch. It is launching next week. The main internal to access the training link provided later. So as you can see how quick that was to do, from the original prompt to loading the skill, we now have a repeatable process that understands what kind of announcements are needed inside the organization and how to execute it so that anybody who has access to this team can come in and look at this reference documents, ask the chat, execute that skill to be able to get the required information. In this case, the different kinds of announcement briefings for the different platforms and different channels. So now that we've used the skill, let's show how easy it is to maintain and how you don't have to be a developer to do it. So as mentioned before, your skills are contained inside the document library called Agent Assets. So if we go to our site contents, go into Agent Assets, under Skills, you can see we've got now a new folder called Campaign Ready Announcement Builder. I can close this chat off now. One of the things to know about how the skills framework works in SharePoint is that inside the skills folder, every new skill will be its own subfolder and follows the skill.md, which stands for Markdown nomenclature. So this is part of that open skills format. Again, we won't go too deep into that today. Just understand that every skill is called skill.md and then loaded inside the folder. So when we click on this, you'll now see SharePoint supports Markdown and we can view it here. So if you haven't seen Markdown before, don't get scared. We'll have a quick sidebar to talk about it now. Very easy to understand. So don't panic. What you're looking at here is not code. It's actually plain text that's able to be interpreted with some special formatting and symbols. So for example, you can see on the left here is the actual text file itself, the actual Markdown file, which again is plain text. And on the right, it's just showing us a nicely formatted version. Kind of think of it like a poor man's HTML. Essentially, you've got special symbols like one hash here is a heading 1, 2 hashes is a heading 2. Enclosing something in a double asterisk makes it bold. So pretty easy to understand, very natural language. And again, no code here. And now that you've seen it, I promise you're going to see it everywhere because this has been really popular with LLMs and for use in AI because it's a very simple way to provide structure to natural language. So coming back to what we're doing here, again, this Markdown is important because skills are written in Markdown. So understanding what this is will help you make it easy for you to edit and maintain them. But essentially, all skill files follow this format where at the top you've got something called front matter, which is essentially a name. What is the name of the skill that we're executing? And important thing in SharePoint, this needs to match the folder name that it's nested in. It's also got the description. So this is telling SharePoint, telling Copilot and AI where and how, what this skill is for and how to use it, saying this skill transforms a short, brief draft or bullet list into a complete set of channel-ready communication assets. That's how this is used. So essentially from here, you can say, what is the purpose? How do we handle the inputs? What do we do after we've received it? What's the writing style guide? And again, you can layer skills from other skills. You can call another skill here that perhaps has your brand guidelines or your writing guidelines or your copy editing skill. So this is a great way to actually chain up multiple steps and multiple different skills together into one workflow. And then information on what outputs it's generating. So as you can see here, this is just plain text. If I wanted to, use numbered bullets, for example, I can edit it like this. And now next time this runs, instead of just outputting bullets, it's going to output numbered bullets. So this is very easy for your teams who are non-technical to be able to maintain certain knowledge about, like in my previous example, what are the different personas, or in this example, what are the different kinds of announcements we need to make. It's now very easy for anyone to be able to come in and add a new announcement or modify how this is running. So that's how we can review and edit skills really quickly using the inbuilt Markdown editor. And now one extra quick thing I want to show, something unique to SharePoint, is how we can hook this up into a quick step to make it easy to execute this skill at the click of a button. So coming back to our document library from before, what I can do now is say integrate and create a quick step. And you can see there's different kinds of actions you can take in SharePoint, like starting a Teams chat or copying files. We're going to shortcut in Ask SharePoint. We're going to call this create announcements. And for the prompt, we're going to be really explicit here. Execute the campaign ready announcement builder skill against this document. And we'll always show this quick step. I can now even add this as a custom column. Add column, quick step, create announcement, and we'll add the quick step create announcement. And now you can see I've got a shortcut directly into that. So now if I select another file, I can have an immediate quick shortcut in to executing that skill against this document. So this is just a really easy way to save some time asking the chat and being able to get a shortcut straight into it. You can see it's already loaded in the skill. It knows what it has to use. It's reading the document. And there we go. So it's read the document, it's come back, executed the skill, and now it's saying, it's coming back asking questions similar to before. What's the target audience or the launch date, or what should we do next? So again, I could continue answering and chatting with this, and then it will create the announcements for me. And there we have it. That was a really quick way to show you prompting to create a skill, actually creating the skill, using it in a chat, editing it and showing how easy it is to edit. It's just plain text with Markdown. And then finally being able to bind it to a quick step so that you've got shortcut access to it. You don't have to ask the chat. But this is just scratching the surface. Obviously, if you chain multiple skills together, if you get really deep on different types of actions and different types of knowledge, this is actually a very, very powerful way about teaching SharePoint and Copilot what you and your team do and what information is valuable to you and your team. So one other thing I want to point out before we wrap up is that skills have been around for a while in other LLMs as well. So for example, it's very popular in Anthropic's Claude product. So you can find a lot of pre-made skills already out on the internet in GitHub, and you may already have some in Claude yourself. So what I want to show you is how they're actually portable because they're both using the Anthropic engine. So here, for example, is my instance of Claude. And I've got a skill under my existing Claude skills called copy editing. And this I found this on the internet, I don't remember where, but it uses the 7 sweeps methodology to do a copy edit over a document to remove jargon, make it more clear, and just generally do some good copy editing proofreading. And what I want to do is use this in SharePoint. So within Claude, I can change my view from this nice reading view into Markdown view, which now you're all familiar with. So what I want to do is copy and paste this into my favorite text editor, which in this case is Notepad, and I'll save it as skill.md. Remember, that's the format that we use. And one of the things that you got to do is just remove anything that's trying to execute code so that it doesn't trip up SharePoint, or SharePoint will ignore that anyway, but it's a good idea to get it out, or anything that doesn't exist. So for example, here it says check for product marketing content and look for Claude product marketing. We don't have that in our example here, so we can pull that straight out. If it's trying to reference other files as well, so we can do a short for reference. And see if there's any other instances where it might be looking for other files. Yes, you can see down here it's trying to reference some other plain English alternatives. We can get rid of that. And so on. It's got related skills. We don't have other related skills in this example, so I'm going to pull that out. And it's got when to use each skill. Great. So coming back into SharePoint, if you remember, we can go into Agent Assets under Site Contents, go into our skills. What we want to do is create a new folder. And remember, you want to name it the same as the name inside the skill, which in this case was copy editing. And we just want to simply upload that skill.md file. Great, there it is. And if we open it up, double check the name is correct. Name is copy editing. And now this is a skill that'll be available for us to use. So if I go back into my document library, choose a document, and execute the Copilot chat. We can now call that skill directly. I'm doing it explicitly here, but we could also ask it with natural language, and it will now load the skill, read the document, and provide its recommendations. So you can see it's loaded the copy editor skill, and now it's executing it, providing the 7 sweeps about clarity, voice and tone, where we can make improvements, and so on and so forth. So there you have it. That's a really quick overview and demo of skills in SharePoint. As you can see, skills really make Copilot yours and unique to you and your business and your information. They're reusable, shareable, and anyone can manage and edit them with no code. So here's a challenge for you. Pick one repetitive task that you and your team does and ask yourself, could a skill handle this? Start there and check it out, see what happens. I'll drop some links and resources in the description, a bit more about skills and how to set them up and what you can do with them, so check that out. And if you do give this a shot, let me know what you build. I'm always looking for new use cases and new ideas. And if you found this useful, please like and subscribe, as I share YouTube shorts every week on tips and tricks on using Copilot, as well as the occasional long form video like this, and it helps my channel. Thanks for watching.